Whoop, I was muted there. Good morning. Anybody here? Not yet. Or maybe yes. I don't know. Uh, I am hoping that I have a guest today. I think she said she was gonna pop in as soon as she took her lunch. I believe. Okay. Well, uh, this is kind of impromptu, but I wanted to talk to I don't even know how you say her name. Um I think it's Crystal. No, I don't know. It's KZE. No. It's KTZ KTC KTZED. How would you say that? How do you say that? There's always room for one more. What's up, buddy? How you doing? Thanks for showing up, bud. Uh, there's always room for one more. Always room for one more. Yeah. I really didn't have a starting point for this live, so I don't have anything like off the top of my head that I really wanted to talk about because I really want to pick the brain of my guest when she gets here. Cool, man. Ah, it's Friday, you know. I'm telling you, bud. Every time I see your name, it's like I don't know. I just wanna go break out a just one bottle just to get a couple shots in. I don't know why. You make me feel like I need to have a shot of tequila every time I see your name. I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm trying to get it where I fit in right now. You know. Um. I Little Chihuahua, hey, how you doing? El Jimador, yeah, that's right. That's right. I used to always think that Venado song. I don't know if you know it. Uh, I always thought they made that song for the tequila for Jimador, because it got the big deer with the antlers. It's crazy. So I always thought that they made that song for that tequila. Of course, I know what the lyrics meant, but still, I thought it was funny. I don't know if you even know what I'm talking about. Tequilero kid. Are you Hispanic? I'm not trying to dox you or anything. How's tiny little Chihuahua? There you go. That's right. That's my boy. Yo. That's Cazadores. Yeah. Facts or frauds? How's it going, bud? It's good to see you, man. I'm glad you're here. All right. It's cool though, man. Like I said, every time I see your name, I just like I want to pour out a shot and just take it down. Oh, are you still doing your therapy? You still have to go do your therapy, facts and frauds? Salud. There you go. Thank you, sir. Yeah, man. Well, right now, I don't have any tequila. I do have a bottle of Captain Morgan's, but I'm probably gonna save it till I get a Coke for later. Facts or frauds? Hey, facts or frauds. If you want to come up to the panel, let me know. I'll give you the link. I'm waiting for my guest. See, yesterday, Okay, okay. Yes, yesterday hey Ray, is it Ray? Is it Ray? um, see, yesterday I tried to have a. I actually wanted to have more of a panel because I didn't really want it to be a solo show, but it ended up kind of being that. Um, I wanted to talk about true crime, and here is the person that everybody recommended me to yesterday. They were all like, "You got to talk to her this stream," and here she is.
I was muted. Hey, can you hear me? Give me 1 second because you're coming through my computer and not my headphones. So give me 1 sec. Keep talking so I can see when it gets to where it's supposed to be.
Sure. Blah blah
Oh,
blah 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 blah.
it would help if my headphones are plugged in, wouldn't it?
That
They are.
that usually. Hmm.
Oh my goodness. I was not planning on streaming today. Where is this?
I never do.
Bam. That should work. All right. I think I'm good now.
Oh yeah, you sound great. That's a nice setup you got.
Thank you. Wrong mouse. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Katie Zed. Nice to meet you.
Is that how you say it? Okay.
Yeah.
I've been for the last hour. I've been like, I'm not gonna even try to say her name because I don't,
Yeah.
I don't want to get in trouble. So I was just like, is it like? Do I have to say KTZ? Is it like a gang thing?
You can say people call me KTZ. People call me Katie Zed. My first name is Katie, and my last name
I
is
see.
Zed. I just shorten it up for online purposes.
That really no, that makes sense. It makes sense now because I was trying to figure out the acronym. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. So yeah, I do a true crime channel. I stream once a week on Sundays at 4:00 Eastern time. Any of your fans who are fans of true crime, that's what I do. So
that's cool. Well, I dabble in almost every single corner of YouTube. So there's not one piece of community that I haven't been in. But the true crime community is the one that I have like I am scattered because I like having different takes. Like I like my technical takes, the ones that come from like people who are in law and can give you kind of like the breakdown as far as like procedures with the police and interrogations, and then going to the trial, right?
Yeah.
But I also consume a lot of the opinionated, creators because I also like to talk, about these people, because it's to me it's a fascination of these people who are like I mean like yesterday I was trying to understand or at least trying to reconcile in my brain why people like Letitia Stout go out of their way to hurt someone that that's innocent basically in the grand scheme of things. He would not make her life any happier or any worse if she just treated him decently.
No, and the other thing is I didn't turn my lights on. There we go. That's probably looks better. Is that child probably annoyed the crap out of her. I've been around kids that annoy the crap out of me. I get it. But when she married her husband, she married his kids too, and she should have known that. So this can't be a new thing. Like you're the stepmom, So I don't know if you've been talking about Letitia Stout, but this is a case where it was a stepmom. The husband was in the military. Was it Air Force? I'm not sure which branch, but he was like a reserve. So he would go away for 2 weeks a year and then 1 week in a month, that sort of thing. And he was away for his training, his 2 weeks. And she killed him. She killed him. The kid, the 9-year-old. Was he 9? Is that right?
Yeah, Gannon. Yeah. Actually, I think he was 11.
11. This is all from my memory. I didn't study up on the cases we're about to talk about, people. So forgive me if I get some of the facts wrong. On my channel, I usually do deep dive research into all of it. So, but when I'm just talking from my head, I get, I might get a couple of facts wrong. So he was an 11-year-old little boy. And do we know how he was killed?
Yeah, that's the part. That's the part that really like messed with me, because I thought this was a situation because you know how during the trial, or at least before when the investigation was happening, there
Mm-hmm.
was the tapes where they were talking about the burns, how you know he was burned, he was hurting or something. You
Yeah.
heard? Did you hear the call?
Yes.
The where
Yeah, he
he's saying
supposedly knocked over a candle. Like, how gaslighty and manipulative was that call? It was
it.
crazy. She
Oh
was like
man,
trying to make it sound like they're going to have to sell stuff to pay the landlord for the damage that the kid do. You don't do that to a kid, especially if it was an accident. That's crazy.
yeah,
I think she said we're going to have to sell the sofa so you'll have nowhere to sit because
yeah.
you knocked over a candle.
Guilt tripping a little ass kid. Like,
Yeah.
what is wrong with you? Like, if anything, you're supposed to comfort him. Like, don't
Yeah.
worry about it. We'll take care of it. You just, let's exactly what he said. Let's worry about your burn, right? Because
She
he
didn't
was
give
he
a
was
shit. She
hurting.
did not give sorry, I try not to cuss online, but she
Oh,
did not
please,
give
please.
one crap about his well-being at all. Not
Yeah,
one
she didn't.
iota. And the fact that she basically self-reported, she posted that, she recorded that, and did she think that that made her look good? Gaslighting an 11-year-old into thinking that an accident was his fault and they're all going to be in poverty because of it? It's crazy.
Yeah, it's the that narcissism, right?
Yeah,
The dissociative, personality disorder, like that stuff, like
exactly.
that's where that comes from, because it's like I
Mhm.
couldn't. My cat. If my cat makes too many meow noises, I'm a nervous wreck, because I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, yeah. If
So
you've
it's like,
watched my channel, you know my co-host is my dog Xena, so I'm totally an animal person, and I get worried about them if something happens, and they're dogs, for goodness sake. Imagine being in charge of a child and treating them so poorly that she murdered him. And I
yeah.
haven't been watching that trial at all, so I'm not sure exactly. I know that she drove his body to Florida, I believe, like Pensacola
Oh,
area,
it's so
and dumped
bad.
it under a bridge. Um,
Yeah.
and she was out looking for him. And then I remember the interview. This is all because this all happened a year ago, probably. And the trial is just happening now. But I remember paying attention to it when it was first breaking. And she did this interview where she wouldn't look at the camera. So she's basically like this to the news camera and talking like this. So you can
Yeah.
see the back of her head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Come
I
on
I,
now.
I call. I think the first time I saw it, I was like, why are they interviewing the ring girl?
Yeah.
'Cause-
She looks like that in court too. She's made herself look like a poltergeist or something. She looks like she's about to come through the TV screen. She's got her hair all like this in front of her face, and it's
yeah.
dark black hair, all stringy. Not that mine's any better, but you know, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, to me it seemed like she was putting up the show for the insanity plea, right? But
Oh yeah.
um, it was obvious, and it's just like all the gaslighting she did, all the lying she did. It's like everybody could see through you. Like I don't know why she just didn't give up that. She
Yeah.
should have just gave up the act a long time ago, because everybody was seeing through her. But the part that surprised me, though, because yeah, we know about her, putting them in the suitcase and taking them to Florida or whatever. The thing that
Yeah.
surprised me was that she stabbed him. She stabbed him like 18 times and shot him 2 times.
Yeah. Give me
Which,
1 second. I'm sorry, I'm working too. So give me 1 second just to send this email.
oh, no worries.
What is this for?
Let's see what's going on in the chat for right now.
Yeah, check to see what the chat's saying. I see some familiar faces in the chat. Hi, guys.
Yeah, most of these people are part of the anti-frauditor, like that whole side of the community. I don't know if you've gotten to know some of the people on this side of the community.
Yeah,
But
definitely. I was on Wes's channel a couple of weeks ago, so I met a lot of people there.
I haven't. He's one of the people that I want to that are in my that I want to have on, or at least try to do a panel with them somewhere. There's two
Yeah.
people that are really high up on my list right now. One is Dummy Krueger, but he's just like he's like chasing the dragon, you know.
Yeah.
If you can get him on a panel, wow, he works some magic. But he's like the number one. He's my what's the whale? What's the big whale that my Moby
Oh,
Dick? He's my Moby
yeah,
Dick.
Moby Dick. Yeah.
And then the other one is Team Skeptic, but it's because I'm like Team Skeptic got me all hyped up because he said he wanted to do something, he wanted to like do a project, and I haven't heard from him since. And I'm like, you left me like, you know, like I really want to get a hold of him.
Yeah. You just got to keep reaching out. I'm telling you what, though, it would help if you had social media, if nothing else, to communicate with people. Just because it's easier, you know, to make plans, you know?
Yeah,
So,
I'll probably have to get back to. I got out of specifically the Twitter and Instagram because of associated things that happen. You know, like, you know, when you cut ties with partnerships and stuff like that, there's just
I
way too
know
many
all about that,
connections.
as a matter of fact. I just did that this week. As a matter of fact, anybody who has, I think there's a couple of people who are also subscribed to me. I'm no longer with Hawkhound Media. I'm just independent now. So I quit on Tuesday. So it's a long story, and I'm
Oh,
not getting into the juice of it. But we're no longer associated. So I'm going back to being on my own.
oh well, you know, it happens.
Yeah.
You know,
I
what's funny is
still,
that
by the way, I love all those people to death, and they're still really good friends of mine. It's just, I couldn't, as a working relationship, it wasn't going to work out between us. And I would rather have cut it off now and remained friends with them than have it all go to crap and there's a big dumpster fire and then we don't talk to each other ever again. So PJ will definitely still be on my channel, and Jess and you know, all of them, and I'll be on theirs. It's just, we're not under the same umbrella. I don't.
oh
This is
yeah,
the first time I've been online since it happened, so you probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's a whole thing.
no, but you know what? Hey, this is you know, I like to think that my channel is such a, you know, like is gonna be such an odd thing that nobody's gonna be able to like hold it down to any kind of subject. I'm hoping that's what it gets to, because like
Yeah.
I have a diverse group of friends and they can come from many sides, and so
Yeah.
like I can feel myself shifting, you know, like on lives, you know, like in different panels with different people, but I just haven't got, you know, to the point where I have people coming in yet. So some of my channel friends, the more hoity-toity ones,
Mhm.
they're, you know, they're putting the nose up to my little channel, but it's okay.
Yeah,
I
everybody
don't.
starts out little. Like when
Yeah,
you
I know.
asked me to be on, I was thinking, like, there's so many people who had me on their channels when I had 100 subscribers or whatever, and there's no way to grow otherwise. So of course,
Right.
and I'm going to have you on my channel. I want to pick a case, pick a date. I stream Sundays at 4 if you're around then. I can even, I'll change it up to for guests if, like, I know a lot of people have church stuff on Sundays and stuff, so I've done it on Saturdays before when people aren't around. But that's how you grow your channel, is to cross pollinate, because if somebody's interested in true crime, they might be interested in what you're doing. So I just actually I
Right.
have a group chat with close friends of mine that I just put this stream right now in there. So hopefully some of them will come over and like what you're doing, you know?
I hope they do. I mean,
Yeah.
so far, I would say my lives have not been one thing. Okay, I'll say this: the one thing I'm proud of all my lives, they're all short notice, no planning, all off the top of the head. Okay, so every single live, if you see any of them, just
Mhm.
know that none of them were planned. Some of them you can tell they're not planned. Some of them they
Yeah.
don't seem like they weren't planned, but
I'm the exact
all of them are.
opposite. I am such a planner. I don't do a script, because reading a script, people do videos where they're just reading a script, and that's just boring to me. I make notes, I make bullet points, and then I make sure I have whatever story I'm telling, whatever true crime story I'm telling, I make sure I have it really well in my head, and then I just tell you the story, kind of like we're sitting having a cup of coffee in my living room. That's how I like to do my channel, So
Yeah, and well, I haven't. And just to be, you know, transparency here, you know, you
mhm.
gotta get up to the frauders. But yeah, transparency here. I have not seen your channel at all, But the minute you started talking about the true crime stuff, I'm all like, this is exactly what I needed yesterday.
Yeah.
Because I ended up doing what you do on your channel, but just on my live. Like I was just telling everybody the story, but that's not what I wanted to do because I know the story, and I'm pretty sure the people who were there know the story too. I just wanted,
Yeah.
I wanted to just straight come out with like opinions. You know, I wanted to call Letitia Stout a piece of trash, and
She
and
is. I don't know what that man saw in her. Nothing that I've ever seen her say, even when she was trying to act normal when the kid was still missing. And she was trying to act normal. I'm like, why would anybody? It's just she came off as such a liar, you know. Hi, Steven. Thanks for coming over. That's my friend Steven.
Hi, Steven. I figured he was one of yours.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
I then and you're welcome here, Steven. I hope you like what I got going on. If you can sub and share around, it'd be great. So yeah, that lady. Yesterday I was trying to reconcile like her and Lori Daybell, right? These kids.
Lori
Or
Daybell.
is it Lori Vallow? Is it Lori Vallow?
No, isn't it Daybell? We know which lawyer we're talking about.
Right.
She's so crazy that her crazy like rubs off on people. She's like cult crazy, where she's getting people to join in her craziness.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was saying.
It's Lori. I think Vallow is her maiden name, maybe, and Daybell is her married name. Now I'm gonna have to Google it.
I know that it changed in between the investigation because I remember when they first came out with the case because
it's Lori Vallow Daybell. So Vallow is her maiden name.
Well, the bitch.
True. No lies detected.
I you know, the thing that I was trying to reconcile yesterday is like, why did these kids need to suffer? You know, like it's just like I don't understand. I can understand the evil of having like a crazy brother to hurt your exes completely. You know, I can give you a little bit. You know, you still piece of shit, but
she had that man killed. That in Arizona, was it her? It was her ex. Her brother came and just like straight out murdered her ex-husband in the house with her kids. Her kids were like the kids were there.
Yeah, and. Or he took them to school, I believe. I believe he took the kids to school, and when he came back, he murdered her husband inside the house.
Yeah, and said, he was coming right at me, like the South Park episode. He was coming right at me. I had to kill him. And the thing is, the cops bought it. The cops bought it until her kids came up missing. Once her kids were missing, they started investigating everything, and all of these videos, these body cam videos and stuff started coming out. So she had a murder spree for a while. And what really drives me nuts about that one is that she is murdering people in the name of the Lord. Like she's using religion to be evil. And it really, there's evil in the world. And sometimes the devil will masquerade as good, as God, you know? And that's exactly what she was doing there.
It's you know, Letitia Stout is manipulative in the sense that she guilt trips.
Mm-hmm.
Lori is more of a you know, I know better. You know what I mean? She has more of a trust me. You know, like I'm doing the right thing because I care. You know, like
she's brainwashing people.
Yeah, all these things that I'm doing, they hurt you. But they hurt me even more because I care. You know, like I care about you. It's like, no, bitch, you're crazy.
Exactly. So both of those stories I hadn't really paid attention to since they first started happening. So I'm trying to remember exactly. I remember the kids went missing, and then they were missing for a very long time, and the Lori and her husband fled to Hawaii, I want to say. And then they found the kids burned and buried on like a farm that they owned. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe that was the brother's handiwork, by the way.
Oh, you think the brother did that?
Well, according to some, you know, like some of the evidence, I think it was the the brother was at the house at the time
Mhm.
that they had left, and they were talking like sending texts to each other
Yeah.
about getting rid of like a raccoon or a
Yeah.
some yeah.
But they were
And
talking
he was
about
putting
literal people, like literal human beings, literal little human beings. They're kids. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, to cover it up, they're talking about, oh, we did you bury the raccoon out there? Yeah, it was, we buried it, whatever.
Mhm.
And and I think that was the brother's handiwork, the disposal. I don't know if they know if it was the brother that murdered him, but I
Probably.
know
Yeah.
I know I mean, he was her soldier. I don't know. I don't know
I
exactly
don't
what.
think I don't think Lori did it herself.
No, of
She
course not. No, I
she
don't
was
think
too
so.
manipulative. She had people to do things like that for her, and I don't understand the attraction to I don't understand, like, she doesn't seem that charismatic or that, I don't know why anybody would follow her is what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you see these cult leaders and they're very charismatic and they're, you could kinda understand, why someone would follow them. Lori Daybell does not have that at all, in my opinion.
Well, that's just like same thing I feel about I don't know if a Long Island Audits. You know,
Yeah.
people talk about him like he's got some sort of charisma. I'm like,
Wait, is that
I
the one
can't
that
get over.
stole the is that the one that stole the orange, or is that a different one? That
No,
was
no, no.
Brooklyn,
Long,
okay.
that's Brooklyn. Yeah, yeah. He's the orange thief. No, Long Island Audits is the guy that had the protest on. I forgot. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. He had a protest in front of one of the police stations, and it
Oh,
was just like
yeah, like 100 people showed up or something, that maybe less than that. I saw the video. Maybe 50 people. Some people showed up though.
yeah. I guess. I mean, people showed up, sure, but like it's like to New York, the population in New York to the people that got there, it's like
Mhm.
it might as well have been like two people. It's like it was nothing, and they didn't really protest anything or do anything. They just kind of were standing around taking pictures, which is just
Yeah.
hilarious.
And the cops were just standing there like they're like, "Oh, aren't you gonna arrest us?" And the cops are like, "Don't come past this line." Like they were like standing in the parking lot or whatever, or out front, and the cops had like a gate up or whatever. They're like, "Just don't come over the gate. You're fine." Yeah, it was Ray. You're right. It was like a tea party. It was like they had a meetup, like a YouTuber meetup, but it was just in front of a police station instead of at Buffalo Wild Wings. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and made completely to stroke Long Island on its ego, because that's all he was doing. If you saw him, he was bathing in his crapulence by like taking pictures with his fans, like,
Yeah,
oh yes, take pictures with me. But
sure
my point
was.
of bringing him up, my point of bringing him up is that people say he's got like oh, because he talks soft or whatever, he says things in a certain manner. I'm like, I can't get over the fact that it sounds like he has something stuffed up his nose that I just want to clear his nose. So I don't know how people have the idea that he has some sort of charisma. I don't get that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get
It's
it
it's
either.
strange to me. It's strange to me. But I never like the thing I like about true crime, and I don't like none of the murders. Of course, none of us like that.
Yeah.
It always puts me in a state of mind where it's like I can't reconcile what these people do. Like I
Mhm.
can't. It just doesn't. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense to them. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, I think
Well,
one
I
of the
mean,
one of the
I
cases
think
that
some of them even know that they're crazy and it doesn't make sense, but they can't, they have a compulsion. There's something wrong with them. Like if you look at the serial killers, I think a lot of them know what they're doing is wrong. They just can't help themselves.
Yeah, and one of the cases I wanted to talk to you about, one of
Mhm.
the more unique cases. I don't know if you heard about this lady. She killed her husband, who was like a culinary arts
Yes.
professor at a.
Of
You've heard
course
about
I've
that
heard
one,
of that
right?
case. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's like people like that. Like she thought that she was the smartest person, the most cleverest person in the
M
whole world.
Most of them do.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm a writer of what did she wrote, like those
She wrote
crime. Did she write crime novels?
She did. She wrote, well, they were like romance novels, I think, but there was some crime. Like it wasn't all about crime, but she was a writer. And her whole, for those of you who don't know the case, I forget her name. But the story is she was an older lady and she had a husband who was a culinary teacher at a school, and she bought a ghost gun online, or parts of it. She didn't buy it. She like bought a lower or something like that, and then got the upper somewhere else, like the parts of the gun, and put it all together. So there's receipts for all of this. And she's like, "Oh, I was just buying this ghost gun for research for my next book." And then they're like, "Okay, well, let's see the notes for your next book." She's like, No, I don't have any notes. It's all up here. It's just all up here. I have nothing written down. I have I have nothing. Yeah. I just make notes in my head. It was just in the idea portion. And she basically went to the school. The husband was the one that opened up the school in the morning. Apparently he had the first class. He was a teacher. So he would go there about an hour early or whatever to get all of the stuff set up. And she went to the school and shot him, I think, a couple of times. Anyway, he died, and she leaves, and there's cameras. Like, this is in Seattle or Portland or somewhere where every single storefront has a camera, not to mention the police have cameras places. And so there's video of her, like, all the way along her route, going to the school, being in the school for 10 minutes, and then going home. And then she acts like all big surprised when they're like, "Oh, your husband died," and she just starts melting down. Yeah.
And then she goes and kills like the most popular guy at that culinary art school. Like, like if I get sometimes, people do that kind of stuff for the insurance money, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I would not want to, like, if my target was anybody, not that guy. Like, he was like beloved. Like, you killed the wrong person, lady, and then you're gonna write about it in your book.
Yeah. Exactly. And yeah, he was so loved by all his students, and he would feed the homeless people, like with the stuff he'd be teaching them how to cook, and then they'd take whatever they cooked and would feed the homeless people in the area. So it wasn't just at that school where he was loved, like the whole community loved this guy. Apparently, he was the nicest guy ever.
Yeah, he was. You got that?
Yeah, it's nothing. I'm good.
It's okay. Oh, Flutter Wrangler, I can't right now. I don't have anything to stream anything. I usually just do these lives chatting back and forth. But if you want to, I mean, if you want to come on, I'll stream your stream. But if you want to be in your premiere, it's fine, bro.
It's
no problem with me. Yeah. when they do that thing with OBS and or I don't know if you can do it with StreamYard where you put the screen and you get like 5 screens that come out. And you're like,
yeah. I can help you with your setup, by the way, if you need like offline, not now. You know what I mean? Like if you need help to where you can show videos and OBS. All that.
You mean stuff. You don't want to do like a tutorial right now while everybody's watching?
I mean,
if people want to learn right now,
are you on a actual computer or a laptop, or do you have more than one screen?
No. I right now I got everything that I do is mobile right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's difficult to show video if you're doing it from your phone, for sure.
Right. Yeah. No. I actually. Well, you see, this is the thing. I never intended to want to have more tech than I do, because I actually wanted this to be kind of like a live podcast thing. You know what I mean? Where I'm recording a podcast, but I could do it on a live. That's kind of what I was going for.
That's what I do. I upload mine in audio form as a podcast, but I do everything live. There's no editing or anything like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. But I realized that a lot of the people in the community that I serve in, mostly, they like to follow along with the videos and stuff like that. So I was like, okay. At first, I was trying to have a co-host that could help me put up the videos, right? But that wasn't working out because I couldn't have anybody consistent. And then I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna buy this stuff myself.
Yeah.
of course, it's not going to come, from today to tomorrow. I
I
live in California,
started
so
I started the same way where I'm like, I'm just going to have a little show. I'm not going to, and it's a year later and I have 3 screens, lighting set up, background with lights, a Shure microphone. Like I got a Vocaster 2 that my audio is coming through. It's just like, it just slowly happens. I got a desktop computer because I was trying to do it from a laptop, which just doesn't have enough RAM to do all of the things that you need if you're actually producing a show where you're showing videos and stuff like that. So
I see. No, and the cool thing is that I feel like I'm seeing into my own future. You know what I mean? Because I swear to you, since I decided to start like buying my own tech, that's what I've been going through. Should I get a laptop or should it be a desktop? And then I'm like
get
looking
a
at all the
desktop.
different like features. Yeah, you seal the decision on that one.
Get a
But
desktop and also make sure it has enough RAM because I got a desktop that did not have enough RAM and then I had to buy more RAM. And like I've never built my own computer, but apparently that's what I do now. I like bought, I don't even know what it's called. I have people that give me advice on what to get. So I got it and I had to take apart my computer and put the thing in there and yeah, it works now. So that's good.
that's all that matters.
Hey, Arvolt, I see Arvolt in the chat, and I just want to say hello. Because
Hello,
he's
my
one of my
friend.
people. Yeah, it is. It is an addiction. Don't try podcasting. You'll end up spending all your money on it. I did do the correct thing, though. I did not spend money that I wasn't making from the podcast, if you see what I mean.
Right.
So as people were donating or whatever, that's the money I would spend to upgrade the show.
Exactly. That was like my first piece of advice given to me from other content creators, other people who go live and stuff like that. The first advice to me was make sure you invest in yourself. Make sure that if like you're getting donos early on, put it back into the show, and like it's gonna give your audience a like a better better show, better like things like echoes and stuff like that. And I learned on early that echoes are not good and people don't like it. But
it's unlistenable. Like honestly, like think about what somebody has to be super duper interesting for you to sit through bad audio. You know what I mean? So it's just better to have good audio. It's not that hard. Like there's inexpensive. Like my old mic was only like $100. Where is it? It's here. So like,
shut up, me.
This mic is a pretty good mic, and it was only like $100. So. And now I can have 2 people. Like if I have somebody actually at my house in-house, we can each have our own mic.
Oh, cool. So it's like, when you used to go play video games at a friend's house and they give you the bad controller. Is that the bad controller?
It sounds all right. It sounds all right. It's just it's not the one I wanted. Like I see all of the podcasts, you see this microphone on. So I wanted this microphone.
But you know what? You sound awesome. Like when I heard you come in, it was like, what is this? What is this angel voice that I hear coming in through my ears? Like, what is happening now? Because everybody that I usually have has mobile. They don't have the best like sound or whatever.
Yeah.
So there's always little things to deal with, right? And I'm always used to hearing like background. You were like crisp.
It's because I upload to audio only. So if there's nothing else going on, if all they have is me talking, I want it to sound as good as it can sound. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what's behind me? It's a bookshelf, and I have stuff on it. There's books on the bottom, and then I don't even know. I have some gifts that some of my fans sent me. So that cup right there that says Nixon resigns, a fan sent me. There's a plaque there from Steven, who was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but he sent me a plaque for a game that he plays on his channel. I won, and he sent me that.
Wait. He sent you a plaque for a game that you won?
Yeah, hold on. I'll grab it. Hold on one second. All
Yeah,
right.
a lot of people I see in true crime like to have the crime scene tape.
So he has a game, or he used to have a game on his channel that was called Sports Zoo Beef, and it was basically short clips of either food stuff. They're like funny videos of either stuff happening in the sports game, animals, or I can't believe I'm explaining Sports Zoo Beef right now, but or um so sports, animals, or food, like just little short funny videos, and you would have to
Ah,
guess whether it would be like he would have them all mixed up like a whole stack of clips, and you would have to guess what if the next one was going to be sports, zoo, or beef. And I won, and he sent me this plaque.
oh, you gotta let people go the extra mile. That's
Yeah.
fun. That's
So
cool.
I keep that back there. But yes, it was it's just stuff. There's crime tape, there's police lights. I could make those flash, but it's distracting, so I keep them like that. And
That's
I have the
cool.
frauditors I have the frauditor's handbook right there, that Hezekiah wrote. My brother bought that for me. That's how I found this whole frauditor stuff. Is my brother has a channel and is in the live chats and stuff like that. He's a News Now enemy, and
Oh, is he now?
yeah, he
Is he
he
now?
came up to visit, and he gave me that, and I started reading it, and it's hilarious. So I started tuning in and all of that stuff. So he lives in Florida. I'm in Georgia.
Uh
Um,
well, News Not Enemy loves to torment me and has this chat and any panel that I'm at with Smitty.
yeah.
They're my tormentors, but it's okay. I can tell them it. No matter what you guys say, you guys always just make me laugh.
Mhm.
But he's fun though. He's a good guy.
He is
Uh,
most of the time.
I
I'm the better sibling, though. I'm the better sibling.
I can already tell you're the nice one.
Yeah.
Let me guess, he's younger than you, right?
No, he's actually much older than me.
Really?
He's 7 years older than
Oh,
me. Yeah.
I would have guessed he would have been younger. You know.
No, just boys are more immature than girls. That's all.
True. You're right about that. I forgot. I forgot about my kind.
You people.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. And like I said, I wanted to talk to you about a bunch of other like cases. Like another case that I think really hasn't got that much attention, but I think is kind of interesting is the one with the girl that went to Mexico with her
Yes.
friends.
I covered that on Crime Land. So I have two shows because I know you haven't seen my channel. Because my show Overruled, I just have all my merch today. I have a show that's called Overruled, which is like a deep dive
Sweet.
into one case, but it takes a long time to do the research because I pull all the court records and I read all that stuff. And then on the off weeks, because I can only do about 2 a month, but I want to put out content every week. So I have a show called Crime Land, where it's just short clips of crimes that's happening now, like a kind of a news show. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like where I'm not prepped for it at all. People send me stuff in my Discord and I put it on the screen and I react to it, like live react. And I covered that when it first happened. And that case is insane. I thought that when it first happened, so this woman's name was, is it Shaquanda? Shaniqua? I forget her name. I don't want to
Shania, something like that. Yeah, no,
I don't
get
want to
it.
get it wrong because she's the victim and I don't want to victimize her further, but she's a woman and she went to Mexico and rented like an Airbnb with a bunch of her friends and they beat her to death. There's video of it. I accidentally showed it on my channel because somebody sent it to me and I don't pre-screen stuff and it was pretty bad. So I basically showed, I think there's been a couple of times where I accidentally showed a murder on my channel. Last week I showed one actually by accident.
Well, it could be worse. It could be your murder, then, you know.
Hey, if I get murdered, I need you to cover it and like blow up. All right.
I'm going viral off of murder. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to definitely do a show about it. But okay, so this woman goes to Mexico with her friends. She gets into a fight with another girl, and she basically breaks her neck. The other woman breaks the girl. She grabs her by the hair, breaks her neck. The girl dies. So the Mexican government was investigating it, and I thought they were going to like extradite them down to Mexico and charge them and all that. And there was a backup because they were both Americans. The feds can also prosecute them, and it doesn't look like any of that's happening now. Like, as far as I
Really?
can tell, nothing's moving forward on either of those fronts, which is just insane to me.
You know, the thing that I thought, and this is what this I thought for sure they were going to get in trouble once those videos came out with them fighting her, because like I thought maybe there wasn't anything moving because there wasn't like a good, you know, like there wasn't any evidence that they actually did anything to her. Like I thought they were actually just buying the stories, but then when they brought when the autopsy came, and I think it was a second autopsy done, right? Was it the Mexican?
The Mexican government did an autopsy, but then I think her family paid to have an independent autopsy done, which a lot of times, you know, families do that. So
I would know, Danny.
If you get murdered, I'm going to find out, and I'm going to have a whole episode about it, and we're going to get a GoFundMe for your family. It's going to be a whole thing. We're going to do a fundraiser stream. I'm going to have all of the people, all of my guests will come on, and we'll do a fundraising stream for your family. That's my promise to you if you get murdered.
I guess I'm co-signing it. I'm with it. I hope you never get murdered though.
Yeah, Jerry's coming on. Yeah, everybody's gonna be there.
We're gonna have the big Danny got murdered barbecue.
Danny got murdered stream. That's gonna be the title of the episode. Danny got murdered.
Oh my God, no, Danny, no, you're not gonna get murdered. You're gonna live long, get old, okay?
Yeah.
Oh damn, Danny, you're a sport. I like it. So that case, I didn't know that case had not moved forward with any prosecution at all. So there's no prosecution, nothing happening.
Which I could see them not getting charged with like first degree voluntary, like, you know, pre-planned. It could be that they got into a fist fight and she accidentally died, but that's still involuntary manslaughter. You still broke the woman's neck. They said that the autopsy report said that she was basically internally decapitated. So her head was still attached, but all the stuff inside that connects your head to the rest of your body was like broken in there. So
yeah, I believe it was some like a connection. I forget what it's called, but it's like the one like connection we have to the from like the cerebral to the spinal cord. That's what got detached.
Yeah, they broke her neck. Like you need your neck. You need your brain to tell your lungs to breathe and all of that stuff, you know.
Well, sometimes I wonder how the frauditors, even have these.
Maybe that's their problem. Maybe they got into a fist fight when they were a kid, and they're not getting enough like, oxygen to their brain.
Too many slaps inside the head,
Yeah.
Shut up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Jose Mata, shut up. That's crazy about that girl. And then let me see, which one else did I want to talk to you? Oh, here's another one that always like has me thinking all the time. Okay, how about this guy who I forgot. I don't know if he came from Europe or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he marries a lady, right? They have kids. He always wants to look like he's doing good, right? So he ends up murdering his whole family, and he has them in the house for like, I don't know, something like a month or something like 2 months, and he has his he's living in this house with his wife and his 2 kids murdered.
In Florida? Which case is this? Because this is sounding like that guy in Florida that lived at that Disney neighborhood or whatever.
Yeah, the Disney home guy. Yeah,
Is
yeah,
that the
yeah,
one?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's creepy too. I watched some of his trial when he was on the stand, and that's another one that was trying to pretend he was crazy after he murdered his entire family.
Yeah, that was.
That guy
I
was
do believe.
just in a lot of debt that his wife didn't know about. It seems to me, where he was spending money he didn't have. If I recall correctly, he had a gambling problem. But he was he was a chiropractor, and he had his office in like Connecticut or somewhere east, and was doing like working there and then just coming home to Florida on the weekends to see his family. And
Yeah,
sorry.
he had murdered them. He had murdered them like for like
Yeah.
they were dead for like 2 months or something like that, right?
Yeah. And he just,
It,
well, I thought it was more a couple of weeks, but it may have been 2 months. Like I said, I just from my memory, but um, yeah, all of their family, like the wife's parents and brothers and sisters and the aunts and uncles, everyone was trying to get a hold of them. And he said that they had COVID or they were sick, they had the flu, nobody
yeah,
could talk. And yeah, they were dead upstairs. And he was just living, he was like sleeping in the same bed with his dead wife.
yeah,
Insane.
yeah.
The cops came to check it out. And what's the name? Somebody in the chat, tell me, what's the name of that town that Disney set up? They lived in that town next to Disney World that was like a Disney town. Um, Celebration, Florida. I thought of it before anybody could say it. So they lived in Celebration. So the Celebration police come to his house, and he's standing on the front porch. And as soon as he sees them like turn the corner, start coming down the street, he like runs inside, closes the door, and then they knock on the door. He doesn't answer. But when there's 3 dead bodies rotting, maybe it was 4. I think he had 2 kids. So 3 dead bodies rotting in the house for 2 weeks. It kind of smells a
Yeesh.
little bit. You can smell that outside the door. So,
Yeah,
and neighbors were
that's
complaining
so
about the smell
bad.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so bad. Yeah, that man, and
Mhm.
that's what I think. I would actually give him a little bit more on the insanity, plea thing. Although I don't think, to be sitting there, trying to hide the murders, kind of
Yeah.
like I think negates an insanity plea. But
Yeah.
uh, to go home to that, like you
Exactly.
killed your family, you're coming back home and you're laying next to your dad.
Mhm.
I what like what is going on? Like that's what I mean. It's like these stories always like have me thinking like what kind of like things that you go through. What did you see that can make you feel comfortable sleeping next to a dead body,
Yeah.
and even more so your wife's dead body and your kids' dead bodies are like down
Yeah.
there. Ugh.
Yeah, he put his kids on the bedroom floor, on the master bedroom floor, like on a I think he moved the mattress in there, and he had his kids as if they were asleep on a twin size mattress on the bedroom floor. Like he moved one of their mattresses in there, and then his wife was in the bed. Now he says he was sleeping in there, but that might be for the insanity
It
plea
might be
too. He might have been living in the basement. We don't know.
true. Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, but that I think that case is a little bit more cut dry as far as like who did it and that stuff. Kind of like Letitia, or how about that one kid who killed his parents just because he didn't want to tell them that didn't he quit his school.
There's
Oh man,
several. I was planning an episode because there's so many of those. Like there was like 3 or 4 that I came across all around the same time where it's a teenager who was like lying to their parents about going to school, or something, lying to their parents about something where it was about to come to a head, and ended up killing their family. There was one where in Canada where the guy was on Discord and he was putting pictures of his dead family in the Discord chat. So there's
oh
that
yeah,
one.
I heard about that one. Yeah.
There is that one girl who I wish I could remember names. I'm so bad with names. I think she was Canadian too. So maybe a Chinese Canadian girl who was dating she pretended to be home invaded, and she had her friends come and break into her house. She unlocked the door for them, of course,
Oh
and kill
yeah,
her
yeah,
family
yeah.
and tie her up. But her dad didn't die. And her dad ends up coming, like he's in a coma for a while because he gets shot in the head or whatever. And then he comes to and he's like, after I was shot, I heard my daughter talking to these guys like they were friends. Because they were friends. So
they were friends, yeah.
Yep, there's that one. And then there was one somewhere in the southeast where they had actually gone out to dinner for this kid's graduation. Maybe it was California. I think it might have been Arizona. I'm not sure. But he was supposedly graduating college, but he never even went to school. So they go out for dinner to celebrate the kid's graduation. It was the same sort of thing where he had his friends like do a home invasion and shoot everybody. And like they had him shoot him in the arm. I think his dad survived too, or his mom. One of the families survived that and like basically ratted him out. And then there was one in Florida. This is the last one, I promise. There was one in Florida where the kid killed his parents and then threw a party with his dead parents in the master bedroom. He like closed the door and said, "Nobody go in there." And
I know that one. I know that one.
Pictures of him having this house party. Like he did a Facebook like party invite and invited all these people over and had like a house party. And then he showed his best friend his parents' body. And like then the friend's looking around. He's seeing like blood on the computer because his mom was sitting at the computer when he shot her in the head. Hey, Quest.
And
yeah, and
there was blood splatter. There was actual there was people at the party complaining.
They were playing beer pong on a dining room table with blood on it. Like they just thought it was gross, like a gross house. They didn't realize that it was his mom's blood who he had murdered 3 hours earlier. Yeah.
That one's nuts. That's one of the ones that, like, again, it's very cut and dry. There's no real mystery to it, but just the fact that, you know, you kill your parents and then you have a party. Like, what? Like,
that's a good episode for you to come on. Maybe I'll do that because just like that woman who killed her husband. I haven't written anything down yet. It's just ideas up here. But that's an episode that I've been thinking about doing with those 4 cases and more if we find them or whatever. But I should have you on my channel to talk about those cases for sure.
I got all of those. Like, well, you see, like. Just like the frauders, I hear the same stories from like different, content creators.
Yeah.
So like, when you hear a story like when the Lori Vallow or like the Letitia stuff came out, I went through the different, creators. I always like to go through the fact ones first, like the ones that have the information.
Yeah.
Or the ones that I trust more with information, and I usually like to go to them first. Once I have some of the information, then I'll go to like the more commentary style, the guys that just like state their opinion and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm consistently, eating these stories up. And so I know a lot of the ones that are out there. I like, you just have to tell me a little bit and I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. That's like, how I am too. You know what? I'll tell you, everybody says that true crime is like middle-aged white women watch true crime, but I have a true crime channel and I also have YouTube analytics. And I'll tell you something, that 60% of my audience is male. Also, the bulk of my audience is younger than me. So it's not middle-aged white women watching the true crime. I mean, it is them too. Don't get me wrong. But the bulk of my channel is like the age group. I forget how the age group is separated, but it's like 25 to 35-year-old men is the bulk of my channel. So
hey, you leave those middle-aged white women for me, all right?
Yeah. No, I really think that people are interested in true crime, not because they're, I think that a lot of people, there's nothing wrong with them for wanting to know what could possibly happen. And I think for middle-aged white women or women in general, they want to be prepared for whatever can happen. So when you hear the stories of like, you don't trust people and you make sure you have your doors locked and stuff like that. It's good for people to hear that sort of stuff because, you never know. It's probably not going to happen to anybody here, probably, but you just never know what could happen if you don't look into what could happen. So if you don't know what Ted Bundy did or what Jeffrey Dahmer did or those sort of things, then you're not expecting it. You're not expecting it. So at least if you have those stories in the back of your head, you can be a little prepared, just a little,
Yeah. Well, the reason, one of the main reasons why I got into a lot of like the true crime stuff is in particular is that I think I had a run in with a popular serial killer. And so ever since then, like I got obsessed with like trying to figure out more of these stories. But of course, like the psychology of it, since I was once an anthropology major.
Okay.
I get real fascinated with how people react to these things. Like how they how we act towards people who are outside of social circles. Because.
Yeah.
Obviously these signs, there's signs there that will give us indicators to say, hey, watch it for that guy,
Yeah, absolutely.
And I remember because I used to go to Vegas a lot. Like I live in California, so I used to go to Vegas a whole bunch. And this one day and I'll tell you who I think it was. You heard of that guy Keys?
Yes, Israel Keys. Yes.
Israel Keys. Okay. This was a while back.
That's when I remembered his name. I'm surprised at myself, by the way. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
I never forget his last name. His first name I forget sometimes, but his last name I don't forget. I was in Vegas. I was in Vegas, and I was kind of like in the outskirts because I was visiting a friend who has a house out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to the liquor store, and over there it's not like in California. In California, you can walk to a liquor store. Over there, you have to kind of like take a drive for the liquor store. So I'm driving and I get a flat, whatever, like, okay, I got to fix the flat. I'm fixing the flat. And then I see a guy, like I saw a truck that looked like what looked like a construction worker's truck,
Mm-hmm.
like people who are working on the road, and it was in front of me, and I was actually going to ask him for help, but I had all the stuff that I needed to change the tire, so I didn't care. I just started doing it.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, like, I feel like it was like a ninja move, because I didn't hear him, I didn't see nothing, but all of a sudden, here is this lengthy, like tall person just like standing like right in front of me, and he scared the shit out of me. I'm not even gonna lie, like
that's terrifying.
You picture like like it's kind of like later on in the evening. It's like probably like, but there's still a little bit of sunlight, kind of like around 6, and you just kind of have that little glow, but there's shadows. So he was looking at me where the sun is on his back end, so I'm getting the shadows, like coming from his
you
face,
can't
and
even
I'm like,
see him. Yeah, he's in. Yeah, I get it.
yeah, and so I'm like, hi, and he doesn't say nothing. He doesn't say hi or nothing. He stood there for like 2 seconds, looked at me, and then he smiled at me funny, like I'm like, what's up with you, And I said that out loud. I said, what's up with you?
Yeah.
But he kept walking. He walked to he walked to the truck. He got in the truck and he took off. And then I was just like,
that's
that
terrifying.
was weird.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. So then later, like, I'm talking about like years later, because that stayed burned in my head. Years later, I'm watching like a true crime, like little story thing, and they're talking about Israel Keys. The minute he comes on, like, the screen, and I see, like, because they showed him in the camera footage when he's taking that one girl.
Yeah.
When you see him, when I saw I was like, that was him.
Yeah.
That was him. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally
when you get those little beats when you're like, that's that dude. That's that dude. And so I was going nuts. Like, that's that dude. And I'm thinking like, oh, this is going to be like America's Most Wanted, or, like, I'm going to call and like give a tip or something,
Yeah.
But it was already his trial was over. I guess he killed himself or whatever. So I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then after that, I was like, I was hooked. I was like, I had to find out more about other things. Like I had to find out more about him.
Yeah.
That guy was crazy. That guy, that's a modern serial killer. I don't think he has the notoriety that you would hear, but he's just as crazy as a lot of the guys
He
that
was
have that kind of
actually
notoriety.
smart. Like, you know how you say these serial killers aren't that smart? As far as I know, everything I know about him, he actually was smart, and it was kind of a fluke that he got caught. You see what I mean?
Yeah,
Like he got pulled over. They were looking for him for a murder that happened at a coffee shop in Alaska, and he happened to get pulled over in Texas, I believe. And the cop who pulled him over happened to have seen the be on the lookout for earlier in that day. So it was just
right.
sort of a fluke that he even got caught at all. And I bet he didn't think, because the way that coffee shop was, it was one of those coffee shops that was just like in a parking lot, like a trailer almost. So I bet he didn't think that there was going to be cameras in there. So the fact that
I,
his face was on the news at all probably surprised him, because who would think that a shop like that would even have cameras in Alaska in the Home Depot parking lot, where it's just like a trailer, like a walk up, like window coffee, like it was like a food truck sort of thing.
yeah,
In the Home
yeah,
Depot
yeah,
in the Home Depot parking lot. So I bet he thought that they wouldn't have even had cameras, you know?
yeah. I think he from what I gathered, like from the interrogation videos and stuff like that. Like later
Mhm.
on when they talked to him and stuff,
Mhm.
it seemed to me like it was a fluke. Like it was a fluke that he was caught.
Yeah.
And he has that. He has a very like aw shucks, like demeanor to him when he gets to the interrogation. He's like, kind of like, the obviously the detectives and everybody who's trying to find out information from him, they're feeding his ego. So
Yeah.
obviously he's a little bit flattered. But he I think eventually the reality hits him, because he's all like, no, these guys just want to know where I buried everybody and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And that's why I think he ended up just killing himself.
Yeah,
But
he had like murder kits buried all across the United States. He would take a Home
yeah,
Depot like 5-gallon bucket and put all the stuff he would need to murder somebody, like the rope and the knives and the guns, whatever it is, and bury it all across the United States. So that way, when people would come up murdered, there's not, you see these people get caught all the time because they go to Home Depot the day before and buy a
right.
tarp and rope and all of this stuff, and they're on the surveillance video at Walmart or Home Depot buying the stuff. He would buy it months or years in advance, bury it somewhere where he doesn't even live. He just traveled for a living. And then the next time he would go back there, then he would just home invade people and murder them just for fun, just
Yeah,
for the
just
shiggles.
for
Like,
fun.
no, there was no, like, these people didn't do anything to him. He didn't know them. Just serial killer. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, just random. He killed that couple. What was it? That couple, was it Alaska, or were they another state? But I know he killed that old couple.
I
That's
think
one of the ones he
Vermont.
confessed to.
I think Vermont,
Vermont.
and he had a kill kit buried in like Connecticut or something. So he went and dug it up and then drove to Vermont and murdered a couple, like an elderly couple, just for no reason. And then there was another family in Texas that he murdered, basically same thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Our fault.
No, no. Listen, man. No, no. You don't want to go down that route.
This is not a How to Get Away with Crime channel. So I think I started
Sorry.
getting into true crime. I saw one person definitely get killed. Maybe another one. The second one was a drive-by, so I don't know if the person died or not. I was like in the car behind the car that was shooting, and they were shooting at people on the corner. And then the
Oh,
other
we have
one
something
was,
in common.
yeah, the other one was in a house where I was buying stuff I shouldn't have been buying, but somebody was, and people who are here for my channel have heard this story before, but the guy was arm's length away from me and got shot in the head, and basically bled out on it was horrific. But ever since then, and that was when I was in my early 20s, probably, both of those instances, I don't do drugs anymore. So I don't get myself in situations like that anymore.
I couldn't tell.
Uh, but yeah, there's no way. That was like the last straw. I had to get clean after that. because once you see something like that, it doesn't ever go away. So I was just
No,
trying to get into the mentality of somebody who thinks it's a good idea just to shoot just to kill to take a human life. It's insane to me. So that's kind of how I got into it.
We got something in common. Other than the fact that I was much younger, I saw somebody. I had somebody see somebody get killed, and I've mentioned it. I mentioned it in one of my lives. When I was 12, I used to bus to school because obviously where I was at, the neighborhood that I was at, my mom didn't want me to go to school there.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of neighborhood kids that were my friends that would walk me to the bus stop. Well, one of my more like close friends, the day that we were walking to the bus stop like we did every morning, some gang members I guess were fighting or whatever, and they ended up shooting and they hit him.
Yeah.
So he passed away, and I was only like 12, and he was I think he was 1 year younger than me. I always say he was 12 too. Yeah. Yeah, and then so yeah,
are you like, you don't have to dox yourself, but you're in a city in California, I take it?
Yeah, Los Angeles.
Okay, Los Angeles.
It's really big. So
yeah. I grew up in Chicago, so that's where all that happened. I don't live there anymore. I live in a town that's not even incorporated. Like, I live in the unincorporated part of the small town that's technically my address. So I'm just away from all of that as far as I could be now. So from time to time, I do have to drive into Atlanta for something, but I try to stay away from it as much as I can. I don't like I don't like the cities.
I can't. I just have to be in a like a place with smog. I don't know. I can't stay in rural areas, and I'm terrible in the cold, so I'm stuck here. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm like, I'm weird in the sense that like I don't panic in situations where people are getting tense or angry or whatever.
It's because you grew up around it. I'm the same way. I totally get it. Yeah.
Yeah, but what's crazy is that like if I hold any kind of like a gun, this is something psychological. I don't know what's up with me, but if I hold a gun, my hand shakes terribly. Like I lose like control of my bodily functions or something. Like if I have to hold a gun for whatever reason, that just happens. That's why I stopped being a security guard, because I wasn't getting good work as just being an unarmed security guard. And I tried going tried to do the whole, like getting a gun or whatever. And that's when I realized, like, every time I held the gun, it was like I started shaking uncontrollably.
It's just a matter of doing it a lot. I go shooting at least once a month, and I am always armed. There's not a moment that I'm not armed. So, but I live in, I make sure I practice. I know how to use my weapons, and I will not be a victim ever again. So,
and I'm for that too. I'm not even against it. It's just that I'm just like that. Like, I used to not say anything about it. Like, I used to like keep it to myself.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'll just be like, it's weird. It's just a weird thing that, something psychological. I don't know what it is. I think maybe some trauma, something. I have to go figure it out, whatever.
Yeah.
But it just, anytime there's a weapon, and I try to be cool about it, because I've had moments where like I try to be cool about it, like in the sense that, like, you know what, it's in my head. I don't don't worry about it. You won't shake if you just don't think about it, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I do it every time. It's like involuntary. I can't stop it from happening.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's because certain things that happen. I was going to tell you that I saw that when I was 12, and then when I was like about 17, another situation happened like that, where there was a drive-by and they caught my friend's mom in the head. Like, it was like we were all sitting like in the kitchen. We were having like a birthday party, and the bullet just caught her, and it was crazy because she just felt like she just hit the ground, and all of us were like, "What happened?" Right? Like, everybody was like, "What's going on?" And we didn't even know it was a bullet that hit her, because we saw the blood coming out of her head. And then when the paramedics came, they said somebody shot her. Like, what? We were like, what? Everybody was like, who shot her? Yeah, that was a nuts one.
Yeah. Hey, I gotta go because I'm technically back at work now. So,
Oh,
but it was very good
right.
talking to you. I'm glad that I was able to jump on my lunch break. So, somebody
That was
asked
fun.
earlier in the chat, my dogs. The little one is named Ava, and my co-host is Xena. She's down here too, um, and they're both pit bull mixes. So, I just
Sounds,
wanted to,
they're cool.
yeah.
I
Hey,
got I got a pit.
oh, awesome. Um, if any of your fans are into this true crime stuff, please stop by my channel. I stream on Sundays at 4 p.m. Eastern. This coming up Sunday, I'm talking about a person named Colton Harris Moore, and he was a teenager and he did a bunch of burglaries and he stole an airplane. And it's kind of a good. He did a lot of shenanigans. There's no like rape or murder in the story that I'm covering on Sunday. If you're squeamish
Oh,
about that sort of stuff, it's all like, it's fun crimes instead of
oh,
instead of the usual
okay.
stuff I talk about. But he didn't hurt anybody, I should say. So if you need to ease yourself into true crime, this is the story to catch for sure. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and I have your email,
I
so
appreciate you coming on.
I'll set up a date for you to come onto my show as well, and we'll talk about those teenagers who get in over their heads and end up killing their
You're
families.
right. I, I'm actually very happy that I met you today. I'm gonna be checking out your no and be ready for comments on a lot of videos because
Awesome.
that's I'm going to be checking you out. I really liked the conversation. It was fun. I didn't feel the time. I actually felt like we were still just starting. I didn't think we had
Yeah,
gone for.
I talk a lot. That's the problem.
That's
All
the
right.
problem. That's the fun. But
True.
thank you so much. Thank you for coming on. I can't wait to do another one with you.
All right. Awesome. Good meeting you. Bye.
Good meeting you too. Bye bye. Hey, and thanks to all the people that came from her channel to come. You guys sub that's cool. Um, hey, this is really fun. I'm glad I got to have that conversation that I really wanted to have because that's kind of what I wanted to do yesterday, but there was nobody who could who had that kind of information on the different crimes that true crime things that we were looking at. But I guess I'm gonna call it for now. I may do another stream later with Professor Crack. I don't know. We're talking about it, so I might come on later on with Professor Crack. Uh, if not that, I may just do something a little later. Try to get somebody on a computer to help me out. You know, so we can share some videos, do some things. Oh yeah, this was fun. I actually I like I said, I did not feel the time pass. I felt like it was like everything was happening so fast, but I was having fun. I was into the conversation. Um, it was so cool. I really like that. That was so much fun. I could do it if I could have somebody like with energy like that every single time on the panel. I don't think I would ever stop doing lives. Thank you, OTA. Yes, ma'am, Danny. I sure will. And yeah, so we'll call it for now, guys. I might come around a little later. After I talk to Professor Craig, see what's going on. Uh, I'm having fun. I want to continue doing lives for today. Today, I want to like get all my live stuff out. All right, guys. All right, have a good one. Thanks for Friday. So I hope you're feeling better, man. I really do hope you are. I'll catch you. I'll see you later. All right, everybody. Have a nice rest of your Friday. We'll see you later on in the night.